Hi, I'm Tom from Learn PDR Online. I'll start by just doing a little bit about myself and then go through some thoughts, opinions and advice for people just starting off with PDR. So I've been in the vehicle body repair trade for 24 years. Started off in a body shop doing kind of panel beating, fitting, R&I, and then moved on to be a vehicle damage assessor. Over the last 12 years, I've specialised in paintless dent removal, so PDR, and in that time set up a couple of my own PDR companies for different areas I've worked in. And then in 2017, so about 5 years ago, I created Learn PDR Online, which is my online training school. So to share some of my thoughts, kind of opinions and advice on if you're just getting started in PDR, there's a lot of resources out there that weren't available when I started off. So there wasn't Facebook, Instagram, whilst YouTube existed, it wasn't as big as it is now. So my first sort of part of the advice would be just to go through and use all of the resources available for you, kind of doing some of your own research. So PDR can be an expensive industry to kind of get into, depending on how you do it. So it's quite important to make sure, firstly, it's something that you want to do. So my advice would definitely be check out all of the free resources. There's a number of, like myself, I've got a lot of free training videos on YouTube, along with a number of other PDR techs. So that would be my advice, to first start off on YouTube watching some training advice, some different videos, and find a trainer that you can relate to, somebody that's already working kind of in the industry or in a position that you'd like to be in yourself, and someone that you can understand, as I say, relate to in terms of doing your training. So along with the free resources you've got online, such as kind of YouTube and the videos I say, there's also a lot of PDR techs that are very happy to talk to you. So again, just reach out to people, ask some questions, and you should get a fairly friendly response. Everybody in the PDR industry, in my experience, is pretty friendly, pretty open and happy to talk to you. So once you've watched a few different videos, you get a bit of an understanding of kind of PDR and what it is you want to do. The next thing is to start practicing. So you don't need to invest a lot of money on tools, in my opinion. There's only really 5 basic tools you need. The training that we do, we start off with a double bend bar with interchangeable tip, an S-hook and an O-ring to give you your leverage, a hammer and a knockdown, and a reading device. So I use lines, generally use a reflector board or LED lens with lines on, and some people prefer fog, so that comes down to your own sort of preference as to how you read the dents, whether it's with a fog light or with lines. Again, I have videos free on YouTube that explain the differences between the two. So you don't have to invest too much money, and I recommend not. PDR is quite a hard industry to get into, and certainly to get to a skilled enough level to turn it into your income. So I would start off just with those 5 or 6 basic tools and starting with some videos. The problem, or a problem that can arise with just watching YouTube, is if you've got lots of different trainers, you're getting lots of different advice, and that can be confusing and a little bit overwhelming. So what I created within Learn PDR Online is a specific, what I refer to as the PDR path, which takes you from kind of A to Z in your kind of training. So a complete beginner who's never picked up tools before, going through each of the stages, each of the different modules, training videos, tutorials, right through to becoming a paid PDR technician. So once you've got your hands on some tools and you've had a little practice, you should be able to get a good feel for if PDR is for you. Now, a lot of people make the mistake that it's kind of a quick skill to learn. Just a pre-warning, it can take months, if not years, to really kind of master PDR. That's why I recommend starting with the free resources available and just a basic set of tools. Once you've had a little play and you know that it is for you and you want to pursue it as a career, that's when you can then invest your sort of time, your energy and your money in terms of turning it into a career and a sort of business or lifestyle that works for you. And then once you have decided it's for you, you've got a few different options as to the type of PDR technician you want to be. So myself, I'm mobile, I'm pretty much a one-man band, and just currently working retail jobs. So you can be a mobile setup, you can be static, so you've got your own shop, like a set location. Some technicians get into the hail industry and kind of follow hail all around the world, depending on if they have hail in their own location. And also you can be kind of a retail tech or a trade tech, or also referred to as wholesale. And that generally is when you're working with car dealerships, used car sales, and some people don't do retail, don't deal with the sort of general public, and just want to stick to their garages and follow their route. So there's a few different options, and it really is your own choice as to what it is that's going to suit you in your business and your lifestyle moving forward. So once you've had a little play with the tools, you've got an idea as to the type of PDR technician that you want to be, that's when you can really start putting that energy in and really starting to progress. There are a number of different tools. There's endless tools that you can buy and pick up. And as you start to progress through your training and get a little bit of experience in pushing, you can then add to your tools as you go. So as I said at the beginning, you don't need to buy all the tools at once, because if you decide it's not for you, it's a big waste of money. So start small, start practicing, use all the free or available resources for you and the online training. And that will really kind of give you a setup as to what it is you want to do and if it's the right kind of place or career to really kind of get into. And as you build up your tools, you can build them as you go and start to kind of earn money and add to your kind of tool collection. When I first started off, I was lucky enough to be able to reduce my hours and go part-time in my job. So I was employed at the time, and I got down to kind of 3 days a week. What this did, it allowed me a couple of days off to really kind of practice. And then just at home, I had a couple of different scrap panels. So I had a bonnet panel set up in my garden, I had a door panel, and I would put dents in and just practice on my own time, getting a feel for it and seeing how I got on. I then went on a training course myself to learn a bit more consistency and learn a few tips and techniques, and then went back to my practice panels to continue. Then after that, I was able to pick up a second-hand car. Now, if you've got the kind of space to pit one, that's definitely a recommendation. Then you get a whole car to play with. Every single panel, you can pit dents all over the place. It doesn't matter if you make a mistake, which 100% you will as a beginner. And then it gives you a chance not only to practice the different tools on different panels, but also to get into a bit of R&I. So sometimes you have to remove lights, remove bumpers, remove door trims, and it's great to practice that on a scrap car or second-hand vehicle as opposed to you practicing on your customer's vehicle. And then one of the most important things, in my opinion, is to really focus on the small details and not kind of running before you can walk. So you need to be able to remove a very small, simple dent, 100% clean finish before moving on to other more complex damage. Ultimately, every medium or kind of large dent will eventually end up as a small dent. So being able to fully repair a small dent will not only give you confidence, but it will give you a really good, clean finish. And that's what it's all about, to be kind of a highly qualified or skilled PDR technician. So it can be tempting, especially, again, another downside of the online world is you see all the big smashes, big complex repairs, and the speed that people are getting through them. And if you're just starting off, that can certainly be kind of overwhelming. But just stick with the basics, really take your time, getting the small dents 100% perfectly clean, and that's going to give you the foundation to what you really need to learn with PDR. Then as you've got that consistency, you can repeatedly put a dent in and then take it out to a fine finish. Then you can start to work on more complex repairs, perhaps a crease or larger dents and different kind of shape damage. But definitely do follow that step-by-step process, keep it simple, start with the basics and really master that initial skill of finishing a dent clean. So once you've got to a stage where you can remove those dents 100% clean and get a really fine finish, we then move through the next stages. So with our online training, this is all covered in step 1. We call it the PDR path, and step 1 covers how to read dents, how to find the tip of your tool, and how to start moving through that. Then in our path, we've got another 6 steps, so 7 in total, each with a number of different courses, tutorials, and videos taking you through each of those stages. So hopefully that gives you a lot of kind of advice and just a kind of a basis to really start your training. My name's Tom. I'm always happy to chat to anybody about PDR. You can contact me directly. The email address is tom@learnpdronline.com, or just go and check out the website learnpdronline.com. Thank you.